One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides up to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistles report and paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Shit. TGIF to all the legends in the building, man. Let's go. You always gotta love when it is a Friday. Just can't help it but be happy. So listen, everybody. Today we've got a very special show. Doing a political campaign of any sort, especially a grassroots campaign. It's very hard to earn some sort of any type of money. Actually, donations are very scarce. And I mean, look at the economy we're in. So I totally understand. But nonetheless, so the way that I can contribute is dedicate one entire show, meaning one stream, to J.R. Bowling for donations for his campaign. So that's what we're going to be doing today, this Friday, man. It's going to be a good time. But nonetheless, what we're going to be talking about today is Trump warns Iran as protests spread, as well as the deadly fire or Switzerland fire that happened over there. Unfortunate chain of events that, 40 people, I think, minimum, have unfortunately passed away from the incident, and over 100 were injured, man. And I'm sure the numbers just skyrocketed since. But nonetheless, the way that we have this entire morning lineup is we've got New Year's Eve house fire in Philadelphia leaves 4 people hurt. And this was a fairly big house fire over there in Philly. And then we're going to be talking about Mamdani. NYC's Mamdani makes announcement on housing and affordability. I'm sure that's going to be great. And then we've got CDC reports. Super flu infections are on the rise. So, yes, make sure you guys be careful. It's definitely not probably the greatest times to, be shaking everybody's fucking hand and then eating stuff. And make sure you guys are fucking clean, man, because winter sucks for this kind of shit. But nonetheless, Hamas must do this or Israelis will, quote, take care of them, national security expert warns. And that happened on Fox. So, of course, we're gonna play that out. We have death to the dictator, quote. Protests in Iran intensify for the 5th night. Now, yes, I have been watching this from afar. I haven't really reported too much about it. Actually, I haven't shown anything about it, but I have briefly noted that I have seen what's happening there and said that I would actually be reporting this. So we are doing it today. And then we're going to be talking about locked and loaded. Trump warns Iran after deadly protests. Yes, he does make a warning, and we're going to talk about that. And that was just, by the way, that was just 3 hours ago that all of this is coming out. Then Trump warns Iran against shooting protesters because, yes, I guess they made some sort of threat that they were going to kill the protesters or some shit. And Trump is like, you kill any of those fucking peaceful protesters, we're going to kill you. That's basically what the consensus of that was. Switzerland ski resort fire details revealed. So it says around 40 people were killed and 115 others were left hurt when a fire ripped through a crowded bar. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people in a fucking bar, dude. The fire happened during a New Year's Eve party at the upscale Swiss ski resort in Crans, Montana, Switzerland. And then we're going to be going into President Trump drops push for National Guard in several cities. Yes, because unfortunately SCOTUS, which is Supreme Court, ruled against basically from one of the major cities, essentially, that he can't be doing that. So he's withdrawing his troops from certain locations. Let's just call it that, right? And then we have liberal media calls out Tim Walz over Minnesota's fraud scandal. Shit.
Bruh.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that is the morning that we're going to be lining ourselves up with real quick. Let's go ahead and do the call to actions. Please make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the channel, make sure that you guys hit that subscribe because it is also free. Now, let's go ahead and now one thing I didn't fucking save. Let me go ahead and do it there. All right, for the money part, let's get the money part over. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $3.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is the exact way that we are keeping our lights on as well as being on these airwaves. So I very much appreciate you guys becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, the campaign trail, all of it, man. Make sure you guys hit me up over there. We also have a Discord server for all of you legends. Make sure you guys go in the video description down below, and it has the Discord server invite for all of you guys. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be shouted out and presented onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And of course, I'll read out loud, just like a super chat, whatever comes our way. And we've got it, you know, right here on our email. So I very much appreciate all you legends in the building, man. We got Papa D popping the cherry, by the way, for the $5 saying, morning. Yes, sir. I very much appreciate that, kind sir. Great to see you in the chat. And yes, so far we've made, well, I guess theoretically, because it's 30%. So, you know, he makes like $3, you know. So again, all proceeds today are going to be going to, of just this show, will be going to JR Bowling for his campaign. So, all right, let's go ahead and get right into this, man. We got first of all, we got all you legends in here. We got brother Steve Easy as well as Roger. We got brother Warland as well. Good morning to you guys. We let's see. We got brother Hardwire. We got Scrambled North. Good morning. Good morning. We got like button. What's up, Crystal? Great to see you. We got Miss Lotus. Great to see you guys. Always appreciate you guys as well. Fuck It Friday. Absolutely. What's up, Easy Frank? Good morning. And Pablo. Good morning. Good morning. As well as Gary. Shit. STMC Prez, good morning to you. Great to see you. And we got Sick Bastard. Yes, sir. Mike Ball, we streaming you. I like that. I like that. All right, we're going to get right into this. New Year's Eve house fire in Philadelphia leaves 4 people hurt. Oh, here we go.
We are following for you on this New Year's Day, and a tragic story out of Philadelphia where a fire rips through an apartment building on New Year's Eve. We go out there live right now.
I wonder how that fucking shit started. The reason why, I mean, because, dude, everyone's blasting off fireworks on New Year's Eve. What happened?
With Fox 29 Philadelphia's Kelly Rule with the latest here in this story.
Yeah, good evening, Mike. So we're in the northeast.
What's up, Mount High? Good morning to you, and happy Friday.
Section of Philadelphia, and you can see that this twin home, or what's left of this twin home, really was...
Oh, shit. We got a humongous banger that just came through. I got to make a very special shout-out. We got Roger in the chat, okay? Roger Calvert sends over $100 saying, let's win this damn thing. Let's fucking go. On the Cash App, man. $100. Let's go. That's a humongous way to start the morning. So I very much appreciate that. That is humongous. Let's fucking go.
likely going to have to come down. You can see it partially collapsed there on the side and some heavy equipment out front that will likely be used for that demolition. Now, while there's no official determination on what caused this fire, just moments into the new year, neighbors we spoke with are questioning if the fireworks they heard and saw before the fire had anything to do with this. Only
Holy
45
shit.
minutes into the new year, terrifying moments in
Dude, that is fucked up.
Somerton as flames erupted from a twin home.
Well, there was a lot of fireworks around the midnight and maybe 20 minutes.
Well, that's what I was about to say. That's what I was saying, actually. Not what I was about to say, what I did say. Fireworks? What's going on?
After, I just heard the firefighters start something happen. Yes, like police coming. I just opened the window and I just see the fire, like a huge fire.
Terrible.
Ross Duba, one of the many neighbors that ran to Nandina Way to see the home completely engulfed. The Philadelphia Fire Department says they got the call around 12:45 in the morning and immediately saw flames on the first and second floors. Eventually, there was a partial collapse.
12:45. So that shit probably actually started burning. The house probably started burning around like midnight 15 or whatever, when people are launching fireworks or whatever. And then by the time 20 minutes later or whatever, now it's fucking in flames.
3 people had to go to the hospital. The fire was under control by 1:30, but officials say they had to remain on scene for hours due to the deep-seated nature of the fire. Overall, they say at least 60 firefighters, medics, chiefs, and support personnel responded.
Wow.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure there was nobody inside. And what exactly happened? Someone said, neighbors tell the fireworks just was on the roof or in a trash can, so nobody knows what exactly happened.
It was so strong. It was so scary. The roof was falling down. All walls were falling down. All windows was falling down. It was really scary.
Is she from, I couldn't really tell. It sounded like and looked like she's from Ukraine.
Across from the twin home.
But sometimes the accent is really hard for me to pinpoint with Russian versus Ukrainian, right?
Today, remnants of fireworks sat next to the sidewalk. The fire marshal also returned to the scene as the cause is still under investigation. Neighbors say regardless of what caused this, it's a tragic reminder about the dangers of fireworks.
Go to some safe place. No people around. No buildings
We got the Soviet Russia. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. She's probably Ukrainian.
around. Just be safe because it's really dangerous. You need to know what you're doing.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
And again, the official cause of this fire is still under investigation tonight, but certainly a good reminder as we kick off the new year.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. So anyways, we're going to run into the next, because obviously we're doing everything in chronological order. Nothing changes here. This is what we do. NYC's Mamdani makes announcement on housing and affordability. This is going to be great.
Bruh.
Here we fucking go with this bullshit. A bullshit? A bullshit? Look at that. What is that thing? That's taking a whole hair hat level, like just bringing the levels way up. That's insane right there. What is that? That's wild. Fight.
Why are you gay?
Look at them. So why has he done like all of these weird announcements in like a subway station, bro? Like what is going on? He's like, I don't get it.
Good afternoon, my friends. Today is the start of a new era for New York City.
Fix his fucking mic, please.
It is Inauguration Day. It is also the day that the rent is due.
What's up, Virgil?
At midnight last night, I swore my oath to become the mayor of New York City. Just a few hours ago today, I celebrated with tens of thousands of New Yorkers. Many of them left our ceremony to return to houses and apartments that do not feel like homes, where bad landlords do not make.
Man, that goes everywhere, homie. That is not just in New York City. I promise you that.
Repairs, where rents constantly rise, where roaches crawl in the hallways and heat in the chill of winter comes rarely, if ever. These New Yorkers voted for a new day for our city because the past one is clouded by housing insecurity and instability, where they cannot afford a life of dignity in the city that they love. Today, on the first day of this new administration, on the day where so many rent payments are due, we will not wait to deliver action. And we will stand up on behalf of the tenants of this city. Yes, we know we are fighting for a rent freeze. But that is not the extent of our efforts. We will also stand up for tenants, build new housing, and get New Yorkers into housing faster.
How? Okay, this liberals are just fucking notorious for this shit. Explain how you're going to do all of that. You just say, we're going to make housing go down, we're going to build houses, we're going to do that. Really? What's the plan to build said houses, you just said? What's the deal with that? How are we going to bring rent down? How are we going to hold scummy landlords accountable? How are you going to do any of this shit?
Today, we are announcing 3 executive orders.
Okay, well, there we go. Let's hear what those executive orders are.
Will be to revive the mayor's office to protect tenants. We will not compromise on housing quality. If your landlord does not responsibly steward your home, city government will step in. We will make sure that 311 violations are resolved, and we will hold slumlords to account for hazardous and dangerous threats to your well-being. The second is to create a LIFT task force. LIFT stands for Land Inventory Fast Track, to leverage city-owned land and accelerate housing development. The task force will review city-owned properties and identify sites suitable for housing development no later than July 1st of this year. The last executive order is the creation of the Speed Task Force.
No, Chris. It's not necessarily bad. Here's the problem, what I was getting at. I'm not saying what he is saying is bad, because at the root, yes, it's good. But how the fuck are you going to do it? And when you do it, when you do make a decision, it affects other aspects of all landscapes, okay? So these things are never put into consideration with a plan. That's always what I'm harping on these guys about. They just say it because it sounds good. And people like you suck it up. And you're like, oh, it sounds good. I'll vote for him. Fucking idiots.
Streamlining procedures to expedite equitable development. This task force will identify and remove bureaucratic and permitting barriers that drive up costs and slow housing construction and lease up, making it more affordable to build and easier to access housing across New York City. Let's go! These 2 task forces will be overseen by our incredible Deputy Mayor for Housing and Planning, Leila Bozar. These are sweeping measures, but it is just the beginning of a comprehensive effort to champion the cause of tenants too long ignored and homes too expensive. We are here today at 85 Clarkson Avenue. This building is owned by Pinnacle Realty, a notorious landlord whose name is all too familiar to far too many renters in New York City. Tenants like Josie Wells, who we will hear from shortly, contend with a lack of heat, roaches, and the kind of conditions that no New Yorker should have to live through. This building and 92 others owned by the same landlord are in bankruptcy proceedings.
Yeah, Chris, I wasn't saying one side or the other. That when I was speaking, that meant all politicians. So you are the one doing the whole whataboutism at this point. We're talking about Zoran Mamdani right now. That's what we're talking about. So don't try to deviate and go, well, Trump did this. Yeah, fuck Trump too. Okay? He's done a lot of fucked up shit too. Okay, is that what you wanted? Now let's focus on Zoran Mamdani.
Set to be auctioned off to a different landlord.
You guys are the worst.
Number 6 on the worst landlord list in New York City.
What's up, Mister?
In those buildings
Oh shit, we got Papa D coming in with the $2 as well, saying morning ×2. I very much appreciate that. Thank you for making it rain real quick. I appreciate that, kind sir.
There are more than 5,000 open hazardous violations and 14,000 complaints. This is an untenable situation. So today we are announcing that we will be taking action in the bankruptcy case. Stepping in to represent the interests of the city and the interests of the tenants and say, once and for all, who this government will be fighting for. I have directed my nominee for Corporation Counsel, Steve Banks.
Yo, we got Lone Wolf in the building. No, the buses are not free yet. Nope.
To take precedent-setting action in the bankruptcy case on behalf of
What's
the
up, are we
renters
not
of this
men?
building
Good
and
morning.
thousands of other renters across New York in similar situations. We are a creditor and interested party.
That's right.
The city is owed money that Pinnacle never paid.
That's right.
And we will fight for New Yorkers' interest to safe and habitable homes. In doing so, we will protect tenants.
Real quick, we got Barbie coming in with the 15-month membership saying Happy New Year to the Insane Wheels family. Let's fucking go. I very much appreciate you, Barbie. Great to see you. It's been a minute, so but always great to see you. And also, we got Papa D coming in with the $5 saying there was a previous morning super chat poking you in the ribs. Oh shit. Yeah, I read this one. Yeah, I did read this one, Papa D. I did. I read it right at the top of the hour. So, got you, homie. But yes, I very much appreciate you. Don't worry. I got you.
Already long neglected from further neglect.
Thank you for the next
And we will
$5,
mitigate the
though.
significant risk of displacement they currently face. For too long, bad landlords have been allowed to mistreat their tenants with impunity. That ends today. No longer will government turn a blind eye as working-class New Yorkers, many of them in neighborhoods of color, are treated as pawns in a game where landlords never feel the consequences of those kinds of actions.
That's right.
Lastly, but certainly not least, you cannot hold such violations of the law to account unless you have a proven, principled, and tireless fighter at the helm. That is why I am proud today to announce my friend, Sia Weaver.
Bruh.
As the director of the newly reinvigorated mayor's office to protect tenants. Sia has a peerless record of standing up for tenants in our city.
Yes, she does.
As the director of Housing Justice for All, she has fought in Albany to deliver pro-tenant legislation. From stronger rent laws to good cause eviction to more affordable housing for all New Yorkers. We are creating the mayor's office to protect tenants, with Sia leading the charge because this work.
What are you
has
talking
too
about,
long been
Panelverse?
relegated to an afterthought.
Yes.
We fight hard to win new rights for tenants across the city, only to find that those tenants are never told of those rights. Millions of tenants across this city are eager for a day when their needs are no longer ignored and forgotten by those in power. Today marks that new era for this city. One where we will...
Well, in all fairness, Mr. Chef, I do have them on 1.25 times playback speed. So, in all fairness.
follow through on the promises we have made, and where we stand up for those who have too often been left to stand alone. I want to thank every tenant who is joining us today, and I want to thank Sia Weaver. It is now a great pleasure and an honor of mine to introduce the new Executive Director of the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants, Sia Weaver.
Oh my goodness.
Why are you gay?
I really don't care what she has to say to be real. I don't care what he brought up another chick. He brought up two chicks. Man, the estrogen levels are high in this place. Okay, then he just takes questions. I don't even fucking care. We're moving on. CDC reports super flu infections are on the rise, and then we're going to get into Hamas here right after that, and then Iran. So we've got a lot going on here. So let's go ahead and bring this up. CDC reports, yes, make sure you guys be healthy and sanitary out there, you know what I mean?
As a lot of people right now are wrapping up their holiday travel, getting back home to where they belong, a lot of people are getting sick after their holiday travel. And that's what we're going to be discussing right now. New reporting coming over from Reuters shows that flu cases are rising across the country, and the public health experts are actually saying that people are pointing to holiday travel and indoor gatherings as major drivers. Even the CDC is also warning travelers to watch for symptoms in the days after returning home, something important to look out for. That's why I wanted to bring on our next guest, Dr. Peter Cheng Hong, an infectious disease expert at UCSF, to help explain why people get sick after traveling. So, as I just said before, with Reuters actually reporting this, the flu cases are climbing nationwide. I wonder why so many people basically are fine traveling, and as soon as they get home, that's when the flu bug comes out.
Yep.
Well, Jay, I think about two things. We always focus on the environmental issues, but I'll talk about the personal and individual issues too.
Issues?
Why are you gay?
So from the environmental perspective, travel brings together a lot of noses and mouths together, which can spread respiratory viruses. A lot of indoor settings, they may not be great ventilation, particularly when you're lining up on the plane, you're on a crowded train, it's cold outside. But there are also individual or personal factors as well. So people don't have enough sleep, they don't eat well, their immune system is sluggish, their microbiome changes. So all of that really leads to increased susceptibility of infection apart from the environmental factors.
Yeah, I definitely could see that there as well. And when doctors talk about the incubation periods, what does that actually mean for someone who flew, went to parties, or spent time, like you said, in indoor spaces there as well?
So there's usually a lag or a delay between when you're exposed and when you get symptoms. And that is generally in the order of 3 days. So you come home from traveling across the country to see grandma, or from that New Year's celebration where you might have been indoors with a lot of people. You wouldn't get sick immediately. You might get sick 3 days later. So it's important to think about that. There's some viruses and infections that might be a little bit faster, and those include influenza that you spoke about, Jay. You might get a sick.
Okay, this guy's literally saying everything that is everyone already knows. I don't even know how this is like a real part in this. Like, yeah, no shit. People get fucking sick in the winter. I just don't understand. Like, okay, so the title of this is that CDC reports super flu infections are on the rise. I'm not even sure why they made a whole spiel about this weirdo doctor. Whatever. We're moving on. We got a lot to get through. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more stories to get through. So anyways, Hamas must do this or Israelis will, quote, take care of them, national security expert warns. Now, I don't know who this national security expert is, but I am interested on the title. Let's go ahead and see if it's anybody that's actually validated to speak on something like this.
Let's bring in our panel. Rebecca Heinrichs, a Hudson Institute senior fellow, and Jamil Jaffer, National Security Institute founder and executive director, and former associate counsel to President Bush. Thank you both so much for being here. Let's start off actually on this issue of these protests. I want to bring up this Wall Street Journal opinion piece. Anger against the regime is rising and the U.S. should lend support, writes the editorial board. Quote, in 2009, Barack Obama made the mistake of staying mute as the regime crushed protesters because he wanted a nuclear deal with the Ayatollah. Mr. Trump may be tempted by the same mirage. But if Iran wanted a deal, it could have returned to the negotiating table after the war. The Iranians, risking their lives, deserve meaningful support. Rebecca, I want to start off with you. Do you see this as an opportunity here for the Trump administration to get more involved now that we are seeing unrest in Iran that we have not seen in about 15 years?
Well, certainly the United States should back the Iranian people, and we have rhetorically done so. I was glad to see Mike Waltz, our UN ambassador, put out a statement embracing the protests of the Iranian people against the regime. As you noted, the systemic repression and mismanagement on the part of the Iran regime is squarely to blame for these protests. As these protests continue to spread, what we should be cheering for as Americans is that they reach the numbers of the 2019, 2020, and 2009, as you mentioned, during the Obama administration, because then at that point you can get the IRGC, that's the militant wing of the Iran regime, they can flip, side with the people. Until you get those people that have all of the weapons to flip, I'm afraid that this isn't going to finally push the regime over. But it is in the interest of the United States to have a pro-American, anti-Iran regime in power.
Now, while this is happening, these protests in Iran, there's now conversation about possibly around
Now, we're going to be talking about these protests in Iran after this story, actually.
Of attacks against Iran by Israel and the United States. In fact, Axios reporting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had this conversation with President Trump on Monday about possibly attacking Iran for a second time and their nuclear capabilities. Let's play this sound from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with our Brett Baer. Listen.
I'm not sure they've decided to cross the line because I think they heed President Trump's warnings, and also because they've just experienced
Miguel, are you just talking to yourself? I don't know. I don't even know who the fuck you're talking to. Goofy.
Less than a year ago, they saw what it entails, and they have to choose. Look, we don't seek escalation. I hope they don't, but if they do, all bets are off.
Jamil, Axios reporting that Netanyahu talked to President Trump about attacking Iran possibly.
What's up, brother SST? Good morning and happy Friday, bro.
Here, because they think that they could
What's up, Carney?
get a
Good
surprise
morning.
attack from Iran. What do you make of Netanyahu saying that and that possibility?
Well, Brian, of course, the challenge here is that the president of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian, who's close to the supreme leader, the number 2 person in Iran, said just earlier this week that they are at war with the United States and Israel. If they are at war, by the way, this is a war they're losing. The U.S. hit them hard on their nuclear facilities just back in June. The Israelis have taken out their proxy forces in Hezbollah and Hamas, and have done a great job taking out their air defenses. So if the Iranians want a war, they can have a war, but it's not a war they're going to win, and it's a mistake for them to seek that war. At the end of the day, they really should look out for their own people. Their inflation rates are at 40+%, up to 1995 levels. This is an economic disaster for the Iranian regime.
Yes, sir. Are we not men? We almost had 1,000 yesterday. We had like 980 total, concurrent, which was awesome, bro. We set a new record for us, which was awesome.
They need to get their house in order, and the way to do that is to do what their people need, which is to put a democratic regime in place that is not run by the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei.
And I want to get this response from the both of you finally on this, on whether or not you believe that there will be a phase 2 of the Gaza deal that will be successful. Will Hamas disarm? Will there be this formation of a board of peace in Gaza? How do you foresee that going in this first month of 2026? We'll start off with Rebecca, then go to Jamil.
Well, of course, when we talk about disarming Hamas, what we mean is eliminating Hamas. And President Trump has been clear that it's going to be Arab partners that are going to go in there, and they're the ones that are going to have to do that, and they're the ones that have committed to doing that. Hamas is not going to willingly lay down their arms, but this is necessary for there to be peace in the region, for Israel to not have to go back in and continue to conduct operations to protect their own people. Hamas has to be removed, and it has to be done primarily by America's partners, and that is the Gulf states. So far, they've been unwilling to do so, but the United States has to keep the pressure on them to hold up their end of the deal.
And Jamil?
Yeah, Brian, the Rebecca is exactly right. Hamas is not going to be willing to put down their weapons. They have to as part of this deal. If they're not going to do that, the Israelis are going to come in and take care of them. That's not the situation the U.S. wants either. Hamas has got to give up. The question that
real quick, we got my brother Bill Castle in the building over there in the state of Washington. Always appreciate you, bro.
becomes, let's say they did put down the weapons, which they're not going to, but if they did, who's going to govern Gaza? That's the hard question. The Palestinian Authority doesn't have legitimacy there now. There are some former Palestinian leaders who might be able to come back. We'll have to see how that plays out. But at the end of the day, what's in the best interest of Israel and the Palestinian people is for Hamas to disarm, get out of the business of trying to be there and be influential, because they are a disaster for the Palestinian people and for Israeli security.
All right, so we're going to be moving on right into Israel, in regards to Iran, really, in the United States. But real quick, always embrace your fuck.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Shit. Oh my God.
Denied.
All right, we're going to be moving on into our next story here. Death to the dictator. Protests in Iran intensify for the 5th night. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Widespread protests across Iran as frustration grows over soaring prices and a collapsing economy. Videos show crowds tearing down gates and battling with security forces. Here's former Deputy National Security Advisor Victoria Coates.
It's been 50 years, and I think we've seen the rial, we've seen their currency hit a new low against the dollar. It's valueless, essentially, and so merchants can't open their stores. They've had to cut off subsidies for food and energy. This is really a tailspin economically for Iran. The United States doesn't really have an issue with regime.
Yeah, Mr. I did see that as well. A few countries have recently... basically, their money has gone to nothing, essentially.
Change in Iran per se. The president's been clear. His bottom line is no nuclear weapons for Iran. But if the people of Iran take it into their hands to make this change, I think it could be very beneficial to us.
Jeff Paul is in Tel Aviv following.
What's up, Kel, up there in Canada? Always appreciate you, bro. Good morning. Great to see you.
For us.
Happy
Jeff,
Friday.
Good morning.
Well, yeah, Molly, and thousands upon thousands of folks there in Iran taking to the streets as the economic crisis there deepens. And these protests are not only getting bigger and more widespread, but they are getting more intense as well. And so as a result, the response from the Iranian government, well, it's matching that energy and it is intensifying. Fresh rallies were reported in multiple cities as more everyday Iranians call for a regime change, some going as far as chanting things like death to the dictator. The IRGC is now coming down hard on the...
Damn. I mean, that's death to the dictator, meaning over there in Iran, that's what they're protesting against their own government. And Trump called them as peaceful protesters originally, but screaming death to the dictator is no peaceful protest. I'm going to be honest.
Protests. There are accounts of gunfire, tear gas, and dozens being arrested. Authorities say a volunteer member of the Iranian Guard was killed in the clashes, and 2 other people...
What's up, Steve Posey? Good morning, and great to see you, bro. Happy Friday.
...were reportedly killed. However, what the security forces are doing and what the current regime is publicly saying are seemingly much different. This was the Iranian government's response to the demonstrations.
Yes, and I haven't told you guys to do it yet, but please, we got over 600 of you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well as double tap that screen on the vertical side. I very much appreciate you guys. All right,
2 days ago.
The government will listen patiently, even if there are harsh voices, because we believe that our people are patient enough, and when their voices are raised, the pressure that is being put on them is high. The government job is to hear the voices and help them reach a common understanding to solve the problem that exists in society.
A 5th night of protests expected tonight. Molly?
It's interesting to hear that government response. We'll see if this is...
What's up, Humanism? Good evening to you. Great to see you in the chat. We're going to move on, though, continuing with the Iran subject. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll talk about it. Lock and loaded, they call it.
We move now to a Fox News alert. President Trump overnight standing in solidarity with protesters fighting against oppression.
Brother Agrillipus, good morning, good morning. Great to see you, bro.
In Iran, as clashes enter day 6 with multiple reported deaths.
Shit.
The president writing on True Social early this morning, quote, if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Hudson Institute Senior Fellow Aaron McClain joins me now. Aaron, I'll just start right off with your reaction to President Trump's True Social this morning.
Hey, good morning. I was told last summer that if the president struck the Iranian nuclear program, the consequences would be World War III and the consolidation of support for the Iranian regime within Iran. Obviously, the opposite, essentially, in both cases, has come to
What's up, Annually? Good morning.
pass, and you have the Iranian regime here teetering on the brink. The president's words are welcome, and sometimes we underestimate the power of words in situations like this to give courage to people, the dissidents and the protesters in the streets of Iran who are acting at extraordinary peril, standing up for their own freedom. But as the president's own comments imply, words are probably not going to be enough. We've been down this road before. These protests tend to have tragic endings, and it may be helpful for the United States to take action in support of the protesters.
Yeah, truth be told, that don't look no peaceful to me.
And you see some of the images of these protests on your screen right now. We have seen reports of people chanting, quote, death to the dictator, a clear reference to Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And this is all because of deteriorating economic conditions, particularly since the 12-day war with Israel this summer. Take a look at these numbers from the New York Times. The annual inflation rate, 42.2% in December. The Iranian rial, the currency, dropped to a record low against the U.S. dollar. Salaries dropping rapidly for residents. And the 2026 budget shows substantial decreases in oil revenue and increases in reliance on taxes. Now, these protesters are mostly merchants and shopkeepers and students. You referenced this a little bit, but I just want to really dig into this. What is the kind of personal risk that these protesters are taking, and do they stand any chance of actually getting what they want?
Well, the risk is death. This regime is one of the world's...
Well, you got to remember, it's not like over here in United States, over there, they'll just kill you.
Great executioners. This year alone, hundreds, if not thousands, of Iranians have died in its prisons, especially since the 12-day war back in June, which was followed by rounds and rounds of arrests at home. The stakes are total for these people. And your economic statistics are all absolutely correct. And they also, by the way, point the direction for this administration to follow should they choose to offer support. If the president's standards are protesters getting shot, there are reports of that already circulating. And it's further economic pressure. It's going after the regime's...
Man, they got a lot of people on the street protesting. This is kind of wild, actually.
Revenue sources, in particular enforcing the sanctions that are already on the books targeting the regime's energy.
Now, today is their 5th day of protests.
Revenues that will really begin to put pressure on this regime, which is what you're going to have. This regime is willing to use force. It has used it over and over again against its own people. That's what's going to happen here again, almost certainly. And this only has a good ending if the regime starts to doubt its own ability to continue. That's the effect that this administration would need to generate.
Aaron, I got one more quick one for you. As we move now to Venezuela, the Trump administration implementing a lot of the same tactics, trying to cripple Venezuela's economy. But notably, in a state interview television, Nicolas Maduro said that he's now ready to speak with the United States and negotiate with the Trump administration. Do you think that Trump is ready to talk, or is regime change the only solution here?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest here. Regime change is the only solution in regards to Venezuela. Yeah, I mean, that's what this whole pressure is about. I mean, people love to say it's about drugs. Yes, that is a great excuse to do regime change.
Well, gosh, if I were Nicolas Maduro, I might want a deal as well. Venezuela really is the target of relentless sanctions enforcement.
Especially over here in the West. Right.
On top of some other pretty strong measures, we see the Trump administration seizing these tankers at sea. We have this complicated story of the tanker that's claiming to be Russian right now, running from the United States Coast Guard. It's not clear exactly what the terms of the deal would be, given that, as you point out in your question, for several weeks now, it's been pretty clear that what the Trump administration wants is Maduro's own removal. And if what Maduro is going to bring to the table involves things like further Eurasian great power interference in the Western Hemisphere, like the Russian diplomatic involvement in this tanker situation, I can't imagine that's going to be that attractive to this administration.
All right, Aaron McLean, we appreciate all of your insight.
I'm Steve Doocy. We're gonna move on into the last part of Iran here, and then we're gonna go into the Switzerland ski resort fire that unfortunately, 40 people were killed and 115 others were left hurt when a fire ripped through a crowded bar over there, man, at some sort of ski resort. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into the last thing here. Trump warns Iran against shooting protesters. This just came out. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and I'll show you when it came out. It came out 4 hours ago. Let's check it out.
Good morning and welcome in here to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christy Matino. And new this morning, we're hearing from President Trump on Iran, as he just posted to Truth Social just hours ago. On your screen, there is the statement from President Trump as he and top Iranian officials exchanged dueling threats today as widening economic protests swept across parts of the Islamic Republic, further escalating tensions between the countries after America bombed Iranian nuclear sites back in June. President Trump initially...
No, that's absolutely part of it. It's regime change and resources, gingerbread. So, yeah.
On his Truth Social platform, warning Iran that if it,
quote,
violently kills peaceful protesters, the United States will come to their rescue. At least 7 people have been killed so far in violence surrounding the demonstrations, sparked in part by the collapse of Iran's currency. Now, shortly after, a former parliament speaker who serves as the secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council alleged on the social platform X that Israel and the U.S. were stoking the demonstrations. He offered no evidence to support that allegation, which Iranian officials have repeatedly made during years of protests sweeping the country. And I wanted to share that post with you here as well on Live Now from Fox. This also coming in just a short time ago at this point. And I wanted to read this to you. It says, with statements from Israeli officials and President Trump.
Now, mind you, Trump says if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to the rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. So it didn't look peaceful to me. I mean, they wouldn't be that whole. I mean, what it looks like a revolution going on type shit. Doesn't necessarily look like it just peaceful protesting, right?
What was happening behind the scenes has become clear. We distinguish between the...
Are We Not Men coming in with the 10-month membership, by the way. I very much appreciate that. He says, Happy New Year and God bless. Yes, God bless you as well, man. Happy New Year. Very much appreciate the 10 months, man. And we got Papa Penguin coming in the building. Much love, honor, respect, kind sir. Hopefully you are enjoying your morning as well. We've got 587 people in here. Make sure you guys double tap the screen as well as hit the like button on the horizontal side. Very much appreciate your guys' laborious work.
Position of the protesting merchants and the actions of the sabotage elements. And Trump must realize that U.S. intervention in this internal matter will lead to destabilizing the entire region and destroying American interests. The American people must know that Trump is the one who started this adventure, and they should pay attention to the safety of their soldiers. So bringing you both comments here.
Brother TVT as well. Happy New Year's, fuggers. Yes, sir. Coming in with the 8 months. I very much appreciate that as well. Happy New Year,
on
bro.
social media this morning.
God bless.
Those remarks likely referenced America's wide military footprint in the region. Iran in June attacked an airbase in Qatar after the U.S. strikes on 3 nuclear sites during Israel's 12-day war on the Islamic Republic. The current protests, now in their 6th day, have become the biggest in Iran since 2022, when the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in police custody triggered nationwide demonstrations. However, the demonstrations have yet to be countrywide and have not been as intense as those surrounding the death of Amini. The protests taking root in economic issues.
I'm telling you, man, I really think that someone that's in my position, right, where I observe this nonstop, and I really see a lot of this as being an escalation to where we're going to fuck them up again, essentially. And honestly, I don't think we should, but that's what's ultimately looking like what's going to happen here. So anyways, we're going to move on. Switzerland ski resort fire details revealed. Let's go ahead and see what kind of details we can get from this whole story we've been following.
Host Christy Matino.
It's very quick, and then we're going to go into Trump drops push for National Guard in several cities. And that's because of the Supreme Court.
We continue to follow this story out of Switzerland. Swiss investigators are probing what caused a fire in a bar at an alpine ski resort that left around 40 people dead and another 115 injured during a New Year's celebration.
So many people.
Joining us now to tell us more is Fox News' Rebecca Castor. Good morning, Rebecca. What new details are we learning here today?
Well, Christy, just a horrific start to the year for this small resort town in Switzerland.
Yeah, TVT, it's better if the Iranian people do it and we stay out of it completely. I mean, that's the best way to do it. And it looks like the revolution may even come. I mean, I can't tell. I mean, but from the videos, I couldn't believe how packed the streets were over there in Iran.
And sadly, we're learning many of the victims were teenagers, as the drinking age there is 16. Hundreds of young people were ringing in the new year at a popular bar in Crans, Montana, that's in the heart of the Swiss Alps.
Yeah, but in all fairness, Easy Frank, we got the shit fucking sped up 1.25.
When a fire sparked. Now at least 40 people are dead and more than 100 injured. Authorities have not determined the official...
No, it's actually not. I lied. It's normal right now. We're going to bring it up to 1.25.
Cause of the fire, but witnesses claim champagne bottles with sparklers lit the ceiling.
When you order a table with bottles, there's a show that starts. And actually, the show was this. A woman climbed onto another woman's shoulders with 2 bottles, and the birthday fireworks were going off. And she waved them too high, so they...
Oh, no. No fucking way. So some party girl had 2 bottles of drinks, had her little sparklers or whatever the fuck, and she lit up the fucking place. No way.
Hit the ceiling and suddenly caught fire.
Suddenly caught fire? I mean, you make it sound like it was an explosion.
A mountain of flowers is growing outside the bar as officials are still working to identify the victims, which will take time as many were visiting from other countries.
Terrible.
So far, Italian and French citizens are among the missing, with no word yet on whether Americans were involved, and a helpline has been set up for parents trying to find their kids. Swiss officials say dozens of victims are fighting for their lives right now in overwhelmed hospitals, and they're considering flying in burn specialists to assist. Christy.
Real quick, hold on. We got Terrell coming in on the Cash App, by the way, saying Happy New Year's from war. Let's go, bro. Sending in the $5 on the Cash App. I very much appreciate that. That is going to our man, Mr. J.R. Bowling, who is Alabama's next state senator for District 4, by the way. And yes, so everything that's made proceed-wise on this live stream is being, just this one, is going to be donated to J.R. Bowling after the show.
For Fox News, thank you so much for checking in
So
with
thank
us
you,
here
guys.
today. And once again, you did hear Rebecca mention there is now a memorial, and there is a live look there outside as we do continue to get different camera angles here. We did see some press conferences happening a little bit earlier on today. However, unfortunately, they were not in English.
Shit, and that's how they ended it. All right, so it was a very quick update on that. Now, we've got our last two stories here. President Trump drops push for National Guard in several cities, and that is because of SCOTUS here. So.
And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Our next story taking us out to cities like Chicago and Los Angeles as President Trump has dropped his push to send National Guard troops for now. Let's give you a live look there at the White House this morning. The president said in a social media post on Wednesday, "We will come back perhaps in a much different and stronger form when crime begins to soar again, only a question of time." And I did want to put that up on your screen here for you. Once again, this post on Truth Social from President
I appreciate you, bro. It goes a long fucking way, Warland.
Trump. Now, governors typically control states' National Guardsmen, and President Trump had deployed troops to all three cities against the wishes of state and local Democratic leaders. He said it was necessary as part of a broader crackdown on immigration. Once again, those cities being Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland, Oregon. The president has considered the idea of invoking the Insurrection Act to stop his opponents from using the courts to block his plans.
Well, yeah, I mean, he can absolutely do that. And that's always, but that's something that you don't want to abuse. You want to keep that in your back pocket. It's actually more powerful having the ability to do it, but not doing it.
He has said he sees his tough on crime approach as a winning political issue ahead of next year's midterm elections. This all comes after the Supreme Court back in December refused to allow the Trump administration to deploy National Guard troops in the
What's up, Kerry? My man, Rob's neighbor. Good to see you, bro.
Chicago area.
Happy Friday.
The order was not a final ruling, but was a significant and rare setback by the high court for the president's efforts. Of course, we've been getting in some reaction here on social media, and we did hear from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker on Wednesday saying on a post to social media, quote, "Trump lost in court when Illinois stood up against his attempt to militarize American cities with the National Guard. Now Trump is forced to stand down." As we have seen over the past several months, President Trump's push to deploy the troops in Democrat-led cities has been met with legal challenges at nearly every turn. So to break this all down for us is Nick.
What's up, Charlotte? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself as well and having a great Friday.
Nicholas Creel. He's a law professor at Georgia College and State University. He joins us live right now. Thank you so much for taking the time here to join us on Live Now from Fox this morning, Nicholas. We really do appreciate your time.
Hey, happy to be here.
All right, I want to start with this question. Who actually has the legal authority to deploy the National Guard, the president or the governors? And under what circumstances can that authority shift?
Right. Well, that's the whole difference there. What she just
so
said.
I mean, it is a bit complicated because the National Guard has a dual status. Normally, though, governors are the ones who retain command of the National Guard and can use them when they think it's appropriate. But there are a few different laws that allow the president to federalize them. And one of those laws is 10 U.S.C. Section 12406, a law nobody had really talked about much up until President Trump's first term began. But critically, in that law, what we see is looking that there are a few different instances when the president.
Oh, wow. You're going to have to direct message me the link to the book. You're going to have to do that. That's awesome.
In order to federalize them under his control, taking them away from the state's control, it has to go through the governors of the states. And so there was a bit of an argument going on that's still ongoing because the Supreme Court did not resolve this. But there is an argument about whether or not the states themselves have to agree to this, or if the president simply gets to just inform them that, hey, I'm taking over here. So that's probably something we'll see resolved in maybe the next 3 years.
Now, going off of all of that, in these cases, what legal standards did the courts apply to determine whether the deployments were lawful or not?
Yeah, well, first, they really relied mostly on statutory interpretation on this. They looked at that statute we talked about, 10 U.S.C. Section 12.
Charlotte, by the way, I have a Discord server. If you're not in the Discord, in the video description down below, we've got a link to the server. Make sure you join up on that, first of all. And then I also have my Facebook on there. I have my Instagram. I'm a big Instagram person. So those are the options.
406, and pouring through it, it's fairly short. But they did see that in order to federalize the National Guard, there's one of three conditions that has to be met: either an invasion, a rebellion, or must be unable with the regular forces to execute the law. And that last part is what they really zeroed in on, looking at unable with the regular forces to execute the laws. And they said, well, regular forces has a specific meaning. And to the court, they said, we're going to go look at that and say that means the United States military. That does not mean ICE agents or FBI agents. It doesn't apply to federal police. It only applies to the military that the president normally controls. And that is really important for a key reason. Usually, the military cannot go and enforce domestic laws. There's this other law called Posse
What's up, Tyrone?
Titus, which prohibits the United States military from enforcing domestic law. So really, this decision by the Supreme Court comes out and tells us that unless the president has the authority to start using the military in a domestic law context, he can't call up the National Guard in this way to supplement the United States military forces.
Right. So, I mean, it makes it a bit complex now since the Supreme Court ruling. But nonetheless, we're going to move on, though. Liberal media calls out Tim Walz over Minnesota's fraud scandal.
Bruh.
Holy shit. Let's go ahead and bring this up and see what is being talked about here.
The Washington Post editorial board is calling for stricter SNAP qualifications across the U.S. as Minnesota fraud scandals unravel under Governor Tim Walz. They say, quote, Walz's boondoggle underlines the need for serious reforms across America. Too bad that too many progressive leaders are lackadaisical at best about cracking down on fraud and errors, lest it curtail social services.
Joining us now is senior writer for the Washington Examiner and Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Joe, SNAP is the fourth most likely for fraud of federal programs. Your reaction to the Washington Post editorial board?
Well, you got to wonder, guys, if Governor Tim Walz will blame white supremacy for the Washington Post editorial board. Not exactly a bastion of conservative sentiment.
What's up, Mr. J.R. Bowling? We got the man, the myth, the legend in the chat himself. Great to see you, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. Definitely know that we are. And we got Motobomb Virginia, my man. Good morning. Great to see you in the chat, bro.
An editorial board has never endorsed a Republican presidential candidate in its history, by the way. They're now even calling out Walz and other Minnesota state leaders, and rightly, because now you got to look at all the pressure from federal government under Donald Trump.
Real quick, by the way, we have 436 people in here. Make sure you guys hit the like button as well as double tap the screen on the vertical side. I very much appreciate you guys.
And what he's doing in putting the pressure on Minnesota.
Good morning.
And rightly, given the billions of dollars that were stolen, allegedly, by members of the Somali community for many years. HHS has now
Appreciate
cut off
that,
all
Yamaha.
child care funds. The Department of Agriculture
mama.
now investigating SNAP. The Labor Department is now investigating unemployment insurance fraud. And Homeland Security, Justice Department, they're now executing search warrants in a door-to-door fashion. This is a full court press. And I'll leave it here, by the way. Betting markets are now saying that Governor Tim Walz, again, a vice presidential candidate with Kamala Harris in 2024, not too long ago, he now has a 30 times more chance of being indicted than he does of winning the presidency. The way this is going at this point, Nate, I think you might as well put that at 30,000 times at this point.
You know, Joe, honestly, this system, it just needs to be cleaned up. And I know this is, I don't know if this is going to sound good or bad, but maybe this needed to happen at such an obscene level for people to realize how much these programs are being taken advantage of, because a lot of people rely on this and they're just getting swept under the rug because so many people are doing so many things wrong. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, Ashley, absolutely. And it's not only like what should have been provided. I mean, in some cases, it was an apparition to begin with. I mean, we're talking about food programs for hungry children in places that didn't even produce the types of facilities that would provide that. Or even worse, autism services. We know that problem's only getting worse in this country. All these centers that were supposed to open that never even existed. And when you talk about billions of dollars, we're not talking on a federal level where you can say, well, that's not too much when you consider that we're talking like trillions of dollars. This is at a state.
Honestly, every single time I think of Tim Walz, I just think of the fucking white people tacos, man. It's so great.
Level that doesn't remotely have the budget for this. So again, accountability goes to the top. That goes to Tim Walz, and he has been deflecting, playing the race card from the bottom of the deck. And now, at this point, even liberal media is now investigating this. There is nowhere to go for this man, and we have to.
What's up, Dirty? By the way, good morning.
To wonder a year from now, will this be seen as one of the biggest stories of 2026? And hey, whatever happened to that guy Tim Walz, who was running for president at one point?
Well, hopefully he's held accountable, like you said, to the fullest degree.
For sure. Joe, so I want to get your take on this back and forth between President Donald Trump and actor George Clooney. So we're going to start by showing you Trump's Truth Social. It reads, quote, good news. George and Amal Clooney, two of the worst political prognosticators of all time, have officially become citizens of France, which is sadly in the midst of a major crime problem because of their absolutely horrendous handling of immigration. He wasn't a movie star at all. He was just an average guy who complained constantly about common sense in politics. Make America great again. Now, I want to show you Clooney's response. He said, quote, "I totally agree with the current president. We have to make America great again. We'll start in November."
Wow.
Your thoughts?
He's going to start in November, I guess, from, I don't know, the south of France or Paris. So it's interesting.
Oh, shit.
George Clooney says Democrats are going to fight at the same time, like eating a croissant. It's an odd combination. And it's weird that Clooney moved to France because he had a pretty sweet place in Lake Como in Italy.
No kidding.
But again, George Clooney has no, yeah, seriously, right? I saw it in Ocean's 12. But look, he has no standing here. He was at a fundraiser in Hollywood just days before that disastrous debate for Joe Biden in June of 24 and said nothing. He only wrote that infamous op-ed after it was realized by the country that Biden's brain had turned to applesauce and it couldn't be hidden anymore. And now, because he played Edward R. Murrow in a movie 20 years ago, he thinks CVS moving to the center as it's doing is a very bad thing. So overall, Clooney is going to fight this, I guess, from France. It makes no sense, but more power to him. Nice is quite lovely. I've been there. I don't know if you have actually.
All right, enough of the bullshit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our hour almost exactly. Man, we're fucking on point with this shit. All right, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for the donations, for you guys hitting that like button, the engagement, all of it, man. I'm very honored to be able to do this, man. So listen, we're going to be back tomorrow morning for not the rest of the world's madness, but we're going to be doing our madness. We got members only tomorrow morning, so that's one of the major reasons why you should become a member. Every Saturday morning, man, we do our members only. It's a great fucking time. Same bad channel, same bad time. All that shit. All right. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. We'll see you guys very soon. And have a great Friday and weekend, man. God bless everybody. Stick around for the raid, because we're also raiding our buddies.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges.